All right, welcome back to the channel, y'all. Somebody said it's crazy because the people who affect the election, the presidential election in the United States of America, who affect that process the most are actually people who can't even vote. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up right here. Listen, that statement, the people who affect the presidential election process the most are people who are not even eligible to vote. We're talking about the whole immigration situation in the United States of America. Here's a headline that says Joe Biden is to allow nearly 500,000 Venezuelan immigrants to work legally in the U.S. Now, we got to get to the bottom of this. We got to knock out the details because there are a lot of Americans right now who are fuming. And I said it and I'll say it again. 2024, election is on the rise. And I got a feeling like the way the Democratic Party is moving, that they are pretty much making way for a return of Donald Trump to the White House as America's next president. The announcement comes as the U.S. seeks an uptick in attempted unlawful U.S.-Mexico border crossings. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but I've seen the videos, and the videos are crazy. I mean, thousands and thousands of people are packed up at the borders of the United States of America. This must be the greatest country on earth. Gotta be the greatest country on earth because there are so many other countries that all these people can go to. I mean, people are coming as far away as China. People are coming as far away as Japan. People are coming from as far away as the far corners of Europe. People and throughout the Caribbean, South and North. Man, it's crazy everywhere. And they're stacked up at the borders of the United States of America. You gotta wonder, what is in the United States of America that everybody wants so much? Because if you ask the average American, they'll be like, the American dream, it ain't that easy to attain. But then others will tell you it ain't easy to attain. But the United States of America is that country that's filled with opportunities. And if you work your ass off and you have a plan, a solid plan, and you stick to it and you execute, you can find yourself living that dream life too. And there's a lot more better opportunities there than most of these countries whose people are fleeing heading into the United States of America. Anyways, let's talk about what Joe Biden's administration is doing with these nearly 500,000 Venezuelans that he will permit to work, even though they have not completed the immigration process to even be here. Now, as border crossing surges at the U.S.-Mexico border, the Biden administration is actively responding to alleviate pressure on the already strained cities. Texas ain't playing with that. Florida is not playing with it. If they show up there, those governors are putting people on a bus and sending them to what they call a blue state. Oh, y'all want to jump on this Biden administration thing and talk about love everybody, bring everybody in, right? Okay, y'all don't want to close our borders and secure our borders and let a fair amount of people in about how much we can actually handle and process them slowly. Okay, well, we'll put them on a bus and we'll send them to your city. So the blue cities will be flooded with these people. And y'all seen what's going on in New York. These people are sleeping on the streets. They're all over the place. They look like people who are lost. And I'm wondering, how are they surviving? They've set up soup kitchens and all other kinds of things to help them while they await the proper process of immigration. I don't know whose good idea it was to just kick the walls down at the border and just let everybody in as fast as possible. But, it's happening. So the administration announced the implementation of temporary protected status, TPS, best known as TPS, for approximately 500,000 Venezuelan migrants. This status grants legal permission for 472,000 Venezuelan migrants who entered the U.S. before July 31st of this year to reside and to seek employment in this country while they are awaiting the resolution of their asylum cases in court. This is a process that typically spans a couple of years. And in the meantime, they'll be able to find work. Whoever will hire them, get to work. The goal is to expedite work authorization. If I know as an employer that your status ain't even straight and you are coming here hoping that they don't send you back, I'm thinking I might just pay you like the lowest wages in the world and work the hell out of you, because at the end of the day, that's what business is. It's about small overheads, big profits, if you're smart, right? Nobody wants to have big overheads and small profits in business. So cutting costs on how much you got to pay somebody to actually work there is one of the main ways that companies retain a lot of money. The goal is to expedite work authorization, enabling these migrants to support themselves financially and file taxes, thereby easing the burden on both state and federal government in terms of providing food and shelter. So this is the Biden administration's great idea: let in a whole bunch of immigrants, or migrants rather, and then give them the right to work. And while they're working, they'll be legally working, so they'll be able to also pay taxes. Now, while they are taxing these 472,000 Venezuelans, the system's going to be making a lot of money through the taxes. And the strategy, the plan is that hopefully they'll get gainful employment, so they won't be out in the streets begging and stealing and doing prostitution and panhandling and all that other stuff. They'll settle into the United States of America as decent citizens. And by the time their paperwork comes through, be it a year, 2 years down the road, by the time their paperwork comes through and they're approved to stay in the U.S., they will have already been seasoned into a job position, into gainful employment, into assimilated into becoming a part of the community. Right. There are a lot of Americans that are against this. People are saying, what happened to the Americans that are here, that were born here, that are in poverty here? Well, sometimes you got to say it like this. What these desperate immigrants or migrants will do to survive, and the opportunities that they appreciate, are not usually appreciated by born Americans. The money you can pay these people to work 8 hours a day, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, a born bred American is not accepting that. But somebody's got to do it. You know, it's funny because these farms are drying up, and I would go to Walmart during the whole crisis, and I would go to Walmart and I would see, you can notice, you can feel it, you can see it on the shelves. I was looking around like, where are the lettuce? Where's the lettuce and the cucumbers and the tomatoes? Walmart really actually ran out of tomatoes, and they had all rotten tomatoes or soft going rotten tomatoes. The corns looked horrible, you know, and it wasn't. I know some people are like, damn, you don't mean your health any good if you're buying your groceries, especially your produce, from Walmart. I go to Publix, or I go to Winn-Dixie, or we go wherever we go. I don't want to debate that with anybody. I'm just telling you that I can see the difference. And once they start putting these groups of people back to work on these farms, where they're no longer afraid that ICE is going to come raid the farm and throw them in a van and take them away and send them back out the country, and they could actually work, because that's all a lot of them really need, is some stability, right? And a better life than the one they ran away from. So they'll work. And then we, the citizens, we get to go to the grocery store, and we'll see the pretty tomatoes, and we'll see all the fresh produce, You know, the kales, the collard greens, the lettuce, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, or you name it, the oranges, the apples, all those things, the grapes, and they'll all look fresh again. So there's a catch side to this. And now in New York City, things have actually reached a boiling point because this week in Staten Island, protesters blocked the city bus, suspecting that it carried migrants, leading to the police arresting 10 individuals. So what these protesters were saying is, we don't want this in our city. They blocked the bus. I guess they wanted to take the people off the bus because they thought that the people on the bus were actually some of the migrants, and it wasn't. It was just a city bus with regular people. But this is just to show you that people are on edge, and you don't know who is going to be firing shots at immigrants going extreme next. In the past year, the City Council reports that approximately 60,000 out of the 470,000 Venezuelan being granted TPS have made their way to New York City. 60,000. This is just in the past year alone. Can you see why people are going to be saying when election time comes, they turn New York into a blue state? And then all this happened. This would have never happened if New York was a red state. I want these people out. I'm voting for whoever the hell they gives us from the Republican Party to vote for president. I'm just telling you how the political process is going to be looking because of this immigration situation. Now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul stated that she had a meeting with President Joe Biden to emphasize the need for increased federal assistance from the White House. That announcement comes as the White House continues to grapple with the growing number of people that are fleeing Venezuela and other South American countries. Arrests at the southern border have been on a rise since the beginning of September, following a decrease in around midsummer due to the removal of the controversial Title 42 rule. The policies toughened for those who are seeking asylum in the U.S.-Mexico border, but made it easier to seek legal entry from their home country. Now, in response to this uptick, its attempted unlawful border crossings, the Department of Homeland Security is deploying an extra 800 active duty personnel to the border. Now, you got to pay these people, right? And it's not only them. These individuals will join the existing force, which includes 2,500 state National Guard personnel, 24,000 Custom and Border Protection agents, 500 law enforcement officers, and almost 3,000 non-uniformed security officers. Just that workforce alone at the border is costing the U.S. a hefty sum of money. If you think about this, 24,000 Customs and Border Protection agents. Think about all those salaries. Full-time salary for 24,000 Customs and Border Protection agents. 500 law enforcement officers, full-time working, yearly salary. 3,000 non-uniformed security officers, yearly salary. 2,500 state National Guard personnel, yearly salary. This is a hefty chunk of money that is being used to facilitate this. Biden to allow nearly 500,000 Venezuelan migrants to work legally. Here's what I want you to do. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me if you think, hear me out, tell me if you think that this immigration situation is going to impact the next upcoming election. And do you think it makes sense what I just said, that this could potentially give the presidency to Donald Trump? I'll catch y'all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.